we have brand new information suggesting that the Boston Red Sox are, quote, going hard for Alex Bregman. We'll break down that as well as an idea of what that contract may look like when he does sign it. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Red Sox Digest. But first, before we get to the news, remember, if you're a part of the 86.5% currently watching this video, not currently subscribed to the channel, and you want to stay up to date on everything Red Sox, go ahead and scroll down and click the subscribe button. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down the Alex Bregman contract information that we now have. Now, we've had this conversation a lot in the past surrounding Alex Bregman and this Boston Red Sox team, as Bregman not only would be great offensively to balance out this lineup as he does bat from the right-handed side, also the overall production offensively is very, very good, but also the defense. He can play third base, the versatility to then play second base as well. He would unlock a lot of different things for this Boston Red Sox team. The question is, are the Red Sox going to go out there and finally just pay a big name player the money they rightfully deserve to bring them into this Red Sox organization? Now, they're doing a form of playing a game of chicken, if you will. Now, if you don't know what I'm referring to, the Red Sox have basically said, we're not going to give you the 5-year, the 6-year deal for 180 to 200 plus million dollars that you may be looking for, but we're also going to bet on the idea that we're not the only team in the MLB that is going to do this. Teams like the Tigers, teams like the Blue Jays that have been in connections to Alex Bregman seem like they are also possibly holding out like the Red Sox to possibly get him later down the line for a cheaper price. Now, obviously, spring training is less than 3 weeks away, so it seems like things are slowly but surely having to pick up just ever so slightly. So now let's get to it and actually break down the article that is giving us all this information, titled Alex Bregman, Red Sox, quote, going hard with 3-year offer, former Sox player reports. Now, we'll get to it and break down the actual nitty-gritty of this article, where it opens up with Bregman declined a $156 million 6-year contract extension with the Astros, according to a Houston Chronicle report. Now the 30-year-old 2024 Gold Glover winner finds himself 3 months into free agency with just over 3 weeks until the start of spring training, and has yet to receive an offer that meets his standards, leaving him a man without a team as camps around the MLB get ready to open. So again, as things quickly start approaching, it feels like things are getting expedited just a little, just a fraction by the day, as teams and players like Alex Bregman, as significant as Alex Bregman is, teams as well as Bregman himself are going to want to get this done and not have to be lingering around waiting to sign this contract, waiting to figure out where home is going to be for the 2025-2026 MLB season. So again, it is going to grow very, very interesting by the day as these reports continue to come out surrounding Bregman as well as other key free agents. Now we move on in the article where it goes on to say, one baseball insider and former major leaguer who played a season in Boston reported this week that the Boston Red Sox are making a serious attempt to sign Bregman, but with a shorter contract than he's reportedly expecting. Carlos Baerga, now a Spanish League broadcaster and podcast host who played the 2002 season for the Red Sox, said Monday on his podcast, Me Gustan Los Deportes, aka I Like Sports, that the Red Sox are, quote, going hard, end of quote, to sign Bregman. Then he goes on to quote Baerga again, saying, I found out today that also Boston is going hard at Bregman, but not for 5 years, but 3. End of quote from Baerga, said on the podcast. Going on again to quote him, here's the problem that is happening. 3 and 1 more option is what is happening. I don't know if it's that Soto has put fear to all the owners, but now it seems that 3 years is what they want to give. And that is the end of the quote from Baerga. And why is this important? Well, he did play for the Red Sox. He is a former player. He did play for the Cleveland, now Guardians. I'm not going to call them what they were because I'm not going to get in trouble. But again, the idea is the same. He's a veteran of the sport, multiple-time Gold Glover, Silver Slugger. He's very credible when it comes to the game of baseball, obviously, and now doing his job reporting on the game of baseball. And it seems like the Boston Red Sox, from one of his sources, are aggressively pursuing Alex Bregman, which is awesome to hear. I would love to see Alex Bregman end up in a Boston Red Sox jersey, whether he's playing third, whether he's playing second, whether they do whatever they want with him, putting him anywhere they damn well please and anywhere he chooses to play. I'd be okay with it as long as we can use him as a right-handed bat to balance out this lineup as well as add a little bit more offensive production this team is going to even be better than it was last year offensively, as well as getting a boost defensively. I'm all in for it, as well as then being balanced in the lineup with having another right-handed bat. Obviously, we would still be left-handed heavy without a doubt, but again, adding a right-handed bat would do oh so much for this team in balancing out that lineup and allowing it to really be more versatile. Obviously, being able to play Bregman at third or at second base would allow so many different options. Obviously, having Grisham and Christian Campbell, and as well as other right-handed bats to play second base, I think there's going to be a lot of different possible options for this Red Sox team to really, really just be different and really work in different ways next season. And it's very, very intriguing to say the least. Now, the last thing we are going to quote is this, and it's from MLB Network, and this is a bit interesting as this is the problem with playing chicken. And now we've had this conversation before, but now we have another team standing out that seems like they could be a possible option for Alex Bregman. Now, the two biggest names outside of the Boston Red Sox that have been in connections to Alex Bregman, outside of the Houston Astros, as again, he did turn down that 6-year, $156 million deal with the Houston Astros, which really made us believe and led us to believe that everyone else is going to be a serious option outside of Houston. And those teams were obviously the Blue Jays and the Detroit Tigers. Now, the Tigers, it does not seem like are really chasing to pay him again. Like the Red Sox, it seems like they're on the same type of page in the sense that they don't want to go out and give him an ample amount of money, anywhere from 185 or north of that number for 5, 6, 7+ years for Alex Bregman. It seems like they are along the same page as the Boston Red Sox, and they're looking to acquire Bregman for a 3 to 4 year deal, possibly with an opt out at some point. And again, not north of that 180 number. Now, again, what would that contract number really look like? It's going to come down to which team gives it to him. Is it going to be the Red Sox? Is it going to be the Tigers? Is it going to be the Blue Jays? And now it seems like it could possibly even be the Cubs. Now, there's multiple reports surrounding the Cubs and possibly being in connections with Alex Bregman. Now, we all know they just went out and acquired Kyle Tucker via trade, and that was really one of the biggest moves of this offseason up to this point via trade, if you will. Obviously, Boston landing Crochet was obviously up there in one of the bigger ones. But again, Kyle Tucker is going to get paid an absorbent amount of money by the end of this by this upcoming offseason. There's no way around it. I mean the one coming after this 2025 season. He's going to get paid 450 plus million dollars, and there's no way around it. This guy steals 25 plus bags. He's going to hit 35 plus home runs. He's going to drive in 90 to 100 plus RBIs. He is a problem, and he's going to be paid like it because he is well deserving. But again, the reason I'm bringing this up is because MLB Network posts this. Alex Bregman could reportedly be a fit for the Cubs if he shifts his focus to a shorter term deal. So again, if the Cubs, amongst these other teams, like the Blue Jays, like the Tigers, like the Red Sox, are trying to get into the market of, hey, we're like these other guys. We're not going to offer you this long-term deal, but we will offer you X amount of money for 3 to 4 years, which could be better than teams like the Red Sox, teams like the Tigers, or the Blue Jays, which could result in swaying Bregman to the Chicago Cubs, as well as being able to play with longtime teammate at the Houston Astros, Kyle Tucker. Now, obviously, the Cubs aren't in the most winning position out of all the teams we've mentioned, as well as anyone in the MLB, obviously. But again, having Kyle Tucker there is going to be a huge boost, as well as obviously if you could add Alex Bregman, that team would look drastically different than it did last year. Obviously, they did lose Cody Bellinger. It seems like Suzuki may be a possible trade option for the Boston Red Sox, as well as others later down the line. So again, this team is going to be very interesting. It's going to come down, does Bregman want to win? Does Bregman want to be paid for a short term and just get a high AAV? Or is he trying to be taken care of for 5, 8, 10 years later down the line? Again, still a lot of question marks. We don't know what Alex Bregman himself really is looking for in particular. Because, again, if he wants a short-term deal with as much money as possible, that question is going to then alter to the fact of who's going to pay him the most money over a 3 to 4 year deal. Is it going to be Boston? I don't know. They haven't given anyone north of $21.5 million this offseason. And again, we're trying to get better here. It's going to be a very interesting. Do they want a long-term deal? Is someone like the Tigers going to be an option with a former coach of of Alex Bregman. Again, it's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. And again, Alex Bregman is more than deserving for all of the money he's going to get, whether it be a 3 year, whether it be a 4 year. Oh, I apologize. We're looking at a bunch of titles. Here we go. If regardless of how it all plays out, it's going to be interesting to see how Alex Bregman does end up really receiving this money, whether it is in a short term or a long term deal. But again, if the Red Sox are able to win this game of chicken, it seems like they're going to be able to acquire Alex Bregman for someone around the 145 to 160 mark for roughly 4 to 5 years. And again, that would be on the long side of it. I would assume it'd be right in the middle of that 4 year span. So again, it's going to be interesting. Can't wait to see how it all plays out. And I will see you guys on the next episode of Red Sox Digest.